This is the site of my first pit out here in 2012. If you look at that early video, you can see that overhang over in the corner over there. In that video, I'm backing out that old International tractor up this road, and I turn this corner right here and back up over there. So yeah, it's been 10 years now since I've been mining here, and right after I moved, my neighbors moved in, and now this is what it looks like. And we'll look at Ghost Trommel over there, number 5. Trommel number 5 is the nicest trommel in the neighborhood. This was custom built and built pretty well. "12 feet of screen section, 1/4-inch punch plate. I think it's a 36 or 38-inch barrel. Forklift wheels. Got a directional discharge here. You can turn it any way you want. Yeah, I like this one. And it didn't run very long. You can tell by the wear. Yeah, I'd say about 2 or 3 weeks. I did see it run one time, once or twice. Good for about 60, maybe even 70 yards an hour. You know, if you could put the water to it, yeah, 75 yards an hour with 12 feet of screen section. That's pretty good for a small trommel. Now here's a custom feeder he made for it. He commissioned all this to be built. He designed it, hired a metal fab shop, and they built it for him. He's coming back. He said this is just a toy. He's bringing the big plant next time. This guy's a sand and gravel operator. He just brought this out for testing. For me, this would be a huge plant to run. It'd be very hard for me to keep up with it. This guy brought a D9 in here and dug this hole. He pushed everything this way first, and then when he got deep, he pushed everything to the left. And over here is their recirculation system. Pond liners, all fenced. Spared no expense. I've never seen anybody spend so much money on fencing to meet the requirements. It's only required to have 3 strands of wire. Now that feed hopper is state-of-the-art remote control dump from the loader. All painted up nice. Only used it for a few weeks. Said, yeah, okay, we need a bigger plant. So here's the sluice boxes. These are actually still in their original position. The plant used to sit right here, and it got towed over there with the feed hopper. But these are nice boxes. It looks like all the stuff is still in there. So really nice with hinged lids and locks all the way up, so you can lock them up if you're worried about them. So once again, spared no expense on building about the best equipment. Nice jacking legs here. That pipe is connected to I believe that pipe, and that's probably the power plant and all the other support equipment. Now, one problem I did see when they were running and they were trying to resolve is he didn't put a slobber lip on the front of this. Okay, so when that material backed up, the water immediately slobbered out, and that definitely, needs a retention ring right there. This is a late afterthought attempt of getting some kind of a slobber guard up against it, but something more serious has to be done. One cool feature that I haven't seen before, but he put paddles in here, and they're in a spiral. You see how they're angled. I don't want to climb. I've climbed up and looked in there before, but if you look down them, they spiral to grab the material. That's kind of a unique feature that probably works at one of his other operations, his sand and gravel business. Now the thrust bearing looks okay, but I don't think that's going to be the weak point. That needs to be as strong as these forklift wheels. I mean, you could get a small forklift wheel and put it in there. You need a lot more bearing for the weight, I believe. I wanted to buy this. I've offered to buy it. They're not quite ready to sell it yet, but they do refer to it as just a little test machine. And to me, this would be huge. I'll tell you, it takes a lot to keep up with a wash plant by yourself. If you want to mine by yourself, it's really tough, except for when it's time to split the gold. That's the good part. You get to keep it all. I've worked with people before. I know what I can do by myself, and I know what I can do with the help of just one person. And it turns out I can do triple the production with the help of just one person. Now, the situation is, I can't hire anybody. I would have to be an MSHA mine to hire people. And this guy was an MSHA operation here, and he had several employees. But the rules change a lot once you start hiring people. And when I got my permit, I was notified by MSHA, which is kind of an automatic government agency intercommunication. Well, yeah, MSHA contacted me, and we had an agreement that I was going to be designated as what you call a hobby mine, which is not allowed to have employees. So that's why I don't hire anyone. I'm allowed to have working partners, and I've had several partners in the past. Unfortunately, they've all passed away and died. The latest one being just the 1st of June this year. For a steel fab shop that's never built one of these before, and I know where this was built, I'd have to say they did an excellent job. I think it should be put to work making gold. This is a perfect size machine for out here. He wants to put in a 500-yard plant, and it's hard to manage enough water in the desert for a 500-yard operation. Yeah, it's a nice, sweet little setup. Sitting here idle since 2016. I'm sure it's not done working out in the gold district somewhere, but right now it's just resting. We'll talk about this big hole up here for a minute. So I'm standing about where my trommel used to sit. And this used to be a big, vast pit where I dumped all my tailings at the very end of that early video from 2012. All right, back up here. I'm glad my backhoe got better in the last 10 years. I love having a cab and being off that international with no cab. But there's the ancient seabed. That's what the Clark Mining Company came in here in 1976 and 1977. And they had a 7-man crew, and they dug a hole, a pit right here. And they set their whole operation up right on that flat spot where I set up my wash plant when I arrived here. And I measured this hole, and it was 46,000 yards of material moved that they hauled out of here. Well, they pushed it with a dozer right down here. And there's still people alive in Ely today that worked out here and told me this. They were doing good. They didn't start out doing good, and they did a lot of things wrong, and then they finally figured it out and got where, you know, the gold was. And it turns out all these piles back up here that I thought were overburden and waste and that they moved out of the way, turned out to be ore. This is some of the best stuff they pulled out of the holes here. It's been stockpiled out here. It never got ran. And it never got ran because the mine got shut down. Why did it get shut down? The owner of the mine hit an elk on his way home and got killed. And his wife didn't have any choice but to lay everyone off and sell all the equipment. So that ended mining activity here. And the claims stayed in the same name all the way up until 2014. And then they were dropped. And that's when I had a chance to claim them. And I would say within 30 days, several more people claimed this property after me. And we had to sort that out later. But these are some of the people that had serious business, intentions of mining here if they had the opportunity. And they've got a permit in. It's a big permit. Their bond right here is, I was told, $25,000 to do their little test here. So when I shot that 2012 video, actually someone shot me running my tractor here, and I filmed the last part of it. I had my plant set up right here, and this was unclaimed ground. And it was just a big empty mill site where the Clark Company was. And you can see it's all leveled off, and it was just a nice place to start and a great place to dump all your waste is into their old ponds. So it was unclaimed ground. And when my neighbors claimed over the top of me, they claimed all this area too. And that's actually, I wasn't even on my own claim at the time, but you don't have to be unless somebody else has it claimed. Now there's a marker stake up there. Right there. And then there's one right here. And that is actually the boundary of my mining claim. I was digging out of there and washing over here. But when they moved in, I had to move out. So I moved up on top. And I found some video taken from 2013, 14, and 15. I spent 3 years up there and a couple of more years above that. I'll take you up there sometime. Anyway, thanks for watching.